Hey there, my name is Jack Tupp. I wrote a book called The Disc Golf Revolution. What I'd like to do today is to tell you a little bit about the contents of the book. I'm going to be doing it from here, top of the world, De La Viega, Santa Cruz, California. So to start off with, I broke it into sections, and really you should know that this book is geared towards the outside world. I'm hoping that the disc golf community helps me promote it. I'm hoping that you're all going to want to share it with your friends. I really wrote it on your behalf. So keep in mind when I share these contents with you that the whole point is to tell the full story, the true story, the detailed story about why disc golf is such a big deal to us, not just as a sport, but as an overall social phenomenon. So to start off with, I wrote a chapter talking about what's so great about the game of golf. And then I talk about how disc golf has all of the greatness of the game of golf, but none of the limitations, the cost, the time, things like that. Right after that, I get into kind of a fun chapter called Disc Golf in the Context of Other Sports, where really that's what I'm doing. I'm comparing it to all of the highlights of all kinds of other sports and activities. I have my own chapter on the history of disc golf. I think you'll find is it's factually correct, but it's quite a bit of a different take on the history of disc golf than you've read elsewhere. And then I've got a whole section on the organic free-range growth of disc golf. I talk about the growth of the number of players. I talk about the growth in the number of courses. I talk about the growth in the local clubs that really drive disc golf, and also the competitive growth in disc golf. The next big section is called Disc Golf Today: Who plays, where they play, and how. And that's really what I'm trying to cover. I'm trying to give you a snapshot of exactly what the disc golf landscape looks like. I have a chapter called Wellness and Disc Golf, which is exactly what it sounds like. Another really important chapter is called The Egalitarian Sport, where I go into some detail explaining how disc golf levels the playing field, how it's open to everybody, how just about everybody can find some way to have a great time and get great exercise playing disc golf. Next, I have a section that's more like the typical This Is Disc Golf book called Start Playing Today. So basically, I'm hoping that by this point in the book, I've got people wanting to get out and play. I tell them how to find their closest courses. I tell them where to get the equipment they're going to need, what are the rules, how do they learn how to play. And then I go into a big section called The Finer Points of the Game. And that section has some subsections called Tools of the Trade, Throwing Techniques, the many way to control the flight of a disc, and disc golf lingo. And really, beyond just telling people more about the sport, I'm really trying to make a point with this section, and that is that disc golf is much more complex than people outside the sport might believe. They might be picturing, when they hear frisbee golf, somebody throwing a beach frisbee and then walking on a flat grassy field and picking it up and throwing it again. I really want them to understand all the different ways we can control the flight and all the different variations in the equipment that we use. I've got a section called Disc Golf on the Road, another one called A Panacea for Modern Problems, where I actually, I'm probably in that small group that thinks that disc golf can save the world, but I try to address that topic in this chapter. And then I've got another chapter that gives my own personal perspective on the future of disc golf, where we're headed, where I think we're headed. I think you'll find that interesting. And I wrap it up with a section called Disc Golf Words and Terms. Now, if you want to know more, I encourage you to reach out to me. Go to playdiscgolf.org. You'll be able to see a couple other videos that talk more about the Kickstarter campaign. You can actually see a preview of the video for the Kickstarter campaign. And I've got another video where I'll show you what I have in mind for rewards for the Kickstarter campaign. So I hope you're interested. I'm hoping that you're going to back me. This book was several years in the works. I've put a lot of my life into it, and I did it for you. Thanks.